Welcome back to the channel. We have another video going up today. We did a video this morning on Luis Diaz to Bayern. If you guys want to check that out, go for it. I just appreciate reading all your comments, guys. I love chatting about the football on this channel. It's awesome. I can't wait for the season ahead. I cannot wait. A lot of you have been asking if I'm going to make prediction videos. Yes, I'm waiting because obviously there's so many transfer moves. A couple other announcements. We're posting all of these on Spotify, so if you want to watch on Spotify, it's easier for you. The video's on there as well. I like Spotify a lot. That's why I started uploading. I'm not making any money on there, but we're just chucking it up there anyways. We're also going to be bringing on another creator this fall, guys, like once a week and doing collab stuff on this channel, talking about the football of the week. And then also a part of that is going to be answering a bunch of questions from the comments. So look forward to that. It's going to be awesome. I love making content on this channel, guys. I tell you, man, just the ease and how much I love football, like just being able to talk about it with you guys and having you guys support the videos. I really appreciate it. So you clicked on this video because of this news title, okay? Al-Nassr are in advanced talks to sign Joao Felix and hijack Benfica's move. Understand, Al-Nassr have sent permanent deal proposal to Chelsea and contract proposal to Joao. Okay? Al-Nassr are close to agreeing a deal worth around 44 mil to sign Joao Felix from Chelsea. Okay, and the exclusive started this morning from Fabrizio where he said Al-Nassr agreed to a deal to sign Joao Felix from Chelsea. Here we go. Player authorized to fly for medical and join Al-Nassr. Initial transfer fee worth 30 mil plus add-ons. Heavy sell-on clause for Chelsea to meet Chelsea's 50 mil valuation. So, guys, look, is somebody that is valued at 50 mil a bust? No, right? If you're a 50 mil player, you're still valued in the football world as someone that's going to come in and make a difference, okay? But the title of the video you have seen at this point, and look, I'm not being disrespectful because when we look at Joao Felix's career, right, for the Portuguese national team, he scored 9 goals in 45 matches. In La Liga, he scored 32 goals, 17 assists in 126 matches. He's had 10 Champions League goals in 43 games. In the Premier League, he's really not done great. He's had 5 goals in 28. It's not really worked out at Chelsea. Serie A, let me tell you this, at AC Milan, who really, as a whole, was not great last season. One of the worst AC Milan seasons in recent history. If you watch them, you know the pain of it and where they finished in the table the last few years. They just, it's kind of like been a really down time there. 2 goals in 15 matches. Okay, so what's my point of making this video? I think Joao Felix at this point, guys, I've watched him play a lot on Portugal. The last year or two, he looks like he's lost it entirely. Whether that goes into his training, whether that goes into his work ethic, his confidence, it's probably all a mix of these factors. He just looks like he's not even interested anymore. And that happens, right? People grow up and, when he was valued at 120 mil when he was 19, it's one of those where he's grown into it. But I mean, just look at this valuation, right? It's just, oh my God. I feel like it's safe to say, he was looking such a good special player at Benfica. A lot of people did speculate that the price tag that he was getting kind of put at was a little high. But, Atletico Madrid, was that maybe the best place for him to start his career? I don't know. Atletico Madrid, their style of play, I think it's always going to be really hard for an attacking player to truly thrive there. So maybe that didn't get off to the best start. I never felt like he looked ultra happy there. I can't read into a player, but he spent from age 19 all the way to 22 at Atletico Madrid. All right. So then at that point, Atletico Madrid cut their losses because they paid about 120, I think 125, 110 mil with add-ons. Chelsea come in and say, okay, we're going to take a chance on this guy. That's kind of close to the same time where Chelsea starts spending on everybody. They're still doing that. Doesn't work out at Chelsea. Then at age 24, goes on a spell to Barcelona. Doesn't really work out too well there. Goes back to Chelsea, and then ends up AC Milan and nothing happens there. And now you can see he's not even close to a part of this Chelsea project. Doesn't perform at AC Milan. So, yeah, we see this news story, and I'm not here to rant about Joao Felix going to Al-Nassr. I'm not, because I get it. From Chelsea's perspective, Joao Felix wants to leave. He's not going to play there. He's got to leave. He's got to go somewhere. And Chelsea are being smart here, guys. I look at this Chelsea situation, and I'm like, look, them getting 50 mil for Joao Felix at this point is insane, because you look at Joao Felix and what has Joao Felix really done since, let's say, June in 2022, when he was valued at about 70 or 50, 55 mil, and eventually when he was just turning 23, when Chelsea did get him around that 60, 50 mil mark, right? So the fact that Chelsea almost, more than 2 years later is going to be able to cut their losses on this guy, where he went on loan spells and it didn't work at any of those places. It never worked at Chelsea. He underperformed. I mean, we're talking about one of the most hyped up players, guys. I'm serious. Of all time. You know, there's not many players. We look at the record transfer values, and I pulled this up because I think this is really interesting to look at. He is in a top 50 of record transfer values where, in my opinion, he is one of the biggest busts of all time. I'm going to show you this right here, okay? So we look at the top 10. Sterling, for me, Sterling had a good career. If there's one person that stands out in that top 10, it's probably Sterling. I think Foden and Saka still have more to prove. They're a part of the more recent generation, which is just getting these crazy price tags. Then we look at the next 10. I mean, you look at the next 10, right? Who out of those players, you know, well, maybe Real Madrid and what they paid for Hazard, obviously, they didn't pay 150, but they paid a lot and he was a bust, so that was just, you know, a loss. Coutinho, I think after, it never really went crazy for Coutinho. I feel like after that peak of that Liverpool year, he really reignited, though, at Liverpool, at Bayern Munich. Then we go down to, like, you know, the next 10 players. You know, out of these players, I don't need to say anything more other than look at Jadon Sancho. That never really worked out, okay? I think Osimhen has performed where he's gone. We look at the next 10, okay? I think Odegaard's value is a bit crazy there. Dembele has panned out really well. With the funny part is that he got bought by Barca at his record value, and he's been playing better since. He's completely reignited his value. And so, guys, like, you know, look, I see Joao Felix on this here on here at 39. And yeah, like I'm looking at the list of players on here, you know, the proper list, because I you know, Camavinga hasn't been insane, but I think he's contributed more to a winning culture than Joao Felix ever has. That's just my take. So, you know, there's not many players on here. Grealish would be another one. Dele Alli would be another one. Okay. There's probably like 5 to 10 players in his top 50 that really, value-wise, never even got close to what their record value was in terms of producing. Has Joao Felix pulled a Mudryk where he's done absolutely nothing and then got banned for PEDs? No, as I said before, you know, Joao Felix has contributed in La Liga 32, about 50 goal contributions in 126. You can't say it's a bust at Atletico Madrid. But, guys, somebody valued at that price at that age, 19, 20, 120 mil. And I'll say this, just from watching Joao Felix last 3 years, I think every time he plays on Portugal, they're not as good. I think we saw it. Look at Portugal finally kind of like evened out their squad in the last tournament, and man, they beat a crazy Spain team. They did. And you know, it's been tough with Felix, I feel like, too, because where Felix ultimately kind of wants to play, it's just hard, man. He's had to play out of position a lot in his career, and I feel like there's never been a proper position, like outside of maybe, I like him at false 9, but it's just, he's such a mystery to me. I look at this whole thing and I'm like, wow, he's 25. He's going to Al-Nassr, okay? So the Saudi League, yeah, it's competitive, right? It's not the most competitive. I think it's a bit better than the MLS, but he is going to lose the quality and the speed there 100%. 100%, you know, and he's going to be playing on a team with Ronaldo, right? So it's going to be a big pickup for Al-Nassr. But I just don't, I think, man, Joao Felix, like, I just look at his career, I think he's a bust. Because where is Joao Felix now after this year with Al-Nassr? Or let's say he spends 2 years and he's 27, 28. Where is he going to go and he's going to start popping off? We've seen him at Milan. We've seen him at Barcelona. We've seen him at Chelsea. We've seen him at Atletico Madrid. His best performances was at the end of Benfica and kind of the earlier to mid-stage at Atletico Madrid. After that, the progress has been really limited. And, you know, it's a guy that he is in the top 50, top 40 transfer values of all time. And, you know, at Chelsea, I think is ultimately doing incredible business doing this move. This is one of the best, for all the shtick I give Chelsea about some of their business, this is an amazing business decision, okay? Because the value very soon for this guy is going to go downhill, and Al-Nassr will be happy because they get a big-name player, a Portuguese international, a guy that was one of the most hyped-up players of all time and still has that potential. You know, he may shut me up and score 30 goals in the Saudi League, but for me, I will always remember Joao Felix as the guy that tried it at Milan, tried it at Barca, it just didn't work out. Really, at any of these places. He did all right at Atletico Madrid. I don't think, I always remember Atletico Madrid. Every summer, there was that story of like, they weren't always really happy with him. He wasn't always really happy. He stayed for a couple years. He did produce, but he never got to that level that I think everyone was really expecting and the price tags were telling. I mean, look at this. I pulled this up too. And I remember this like 5 years ago playing FIFA. This guy had a potential of 93 in career mode, right? And you go now, and the guy's potential, you know, he's still rated an 80, and it's like 84. So I just look at where Joao Felix has been the last couple years, and I think ultimately this is one of the larger busts of all time. I mean, he's a funny one though, because he's a guy that, yeah, in his career he has scored a lot, guys. He has scored almost, at this point, 100 goals in Europe. He scored 92 and assisted 44. But what he was made out to be, and everything everyone thought they were going to see out of Joao Felix, I think the chapter is closed. I mean, you see somebody at 25 years old going to Saudi, going to MLS. That's over, man. It's over, man. You know, it's not going to happen anymore. And you know, there's all these other players that, if we look on this, like, that's where I was really seeing this, right? Like, there's a lot of players on here that it will not work at one place and they will revive it. Like, Dembele is a really good example, right? Just didn't work for that value. Sane, obviously, Grealish, these two are a bust for sure. Dele Alli, do I need to say any more? But there's a lot of examples of players on this list that, you know, I think it didn't work at one place, and, you know, then it worked really well at another place. Because I still feel like, you know, did Coutinho, after that Liverpool season, ever live up to that 150? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But, you know, what I will say about Coutinho is that, you know, he really helped Bayern a lot in that 2020 season. And that's just something that I'm like, I don't see Felix ever getting to that spot where he can really help a team and their winning culture. I never really felt like he helped the Portuguese national team. And dude, I hate to rip on a guy, and that's not the point of this. It's really just to discuss football. Like, ultimately, you see someone at 25 years old go into the Saudi Professional League. That's crazy, you know, but I can't blame him. Money is money, and I can't blame Chelsea because they're going to get their value. And, you know, we're at this point with Felix with 25. He's had a stint in La Liga twice. 2 different times, right? Goes Atletico Madrid to Chelsea, then Barca, and now Milan, and it's just not looking like he's able to do it. So, you know, you got 1 or 2 more of those, and then the value goes from 50 mil, boom. You know what I'm saying? And look, Transfermarkt, they think his actual value is 20 mil right now. 20 mil. So that's why I'm saying Chelsea's getting a good bit of business here, because obviously these Saudi teams have to overpay and pay up to get a player like Joao Felix. So let me know your thoughts, guys. I think he's turning out to be one of the largest disappointments ever, you know, in terms of what we thought he was going to be. Not in terms of the general footballer, not in terms of a person. I'm just saying. And, you know, this was interesting, too. I pulled this up for the last thing we're going to talk about here. So this guy, this is an Atletico Madrid fan, right? I'm gonna say this, what he says. So he says, listen, it may not have worked out for Joao Felix in Europe and the national team, but did he try his best? No. Did he train hard? No. Was he a nice guy? No. But was he good for football? Not really. But did his fellow players respect him? Not at all. So make of that what you will. I'm not sure too much about his personality and who he was, but hearing that and hearing a lot of stories about how he didn't really train that hard and he was lazy, yeah, it makes you think he's kind of wasted all that potential that he had. So it's sad to see. It is, for me, guys, it's sad to see. I'm 27. I'm turning 28 next year. This guy's 25. He's getting bought out by Saudi. And at 19, he had the whole world. He was valued at 120 mil, man. Crazy. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts about this Joao Felix move. If you're a Chelsea fan, you should be very excited that you got 50 mil for him. And, yeah, that's what I got to say. Peace.